What's going on, everybody? Welcome to HiFi Fanatics. My name's Mike with Audio Architects. I'm here with my co-host and cohort, Giles, the G-Zilla.
The G-Zilla. Hey, man. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, buddy. And today you have procured us a very special guest.
Procured. I like it.
You like it? I've been reading the dictionary since I've been hanging out with you.
I'm going to have to write that
down. Steve Schulz with Modulus. Now, I was not, privy to what Modulus or who Modulus is. So before we get started, Steve, can you kind of give us a brief background on yourself and Modulus and how it all came about, so that way our audience can kind of get a nice foundation and know what we're going to be? Because I'm sure we're going to get deep into the cool
we're
stuff.
Getting into it.
So I'm ready.
We're going to get into it, and you'll never get out.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So, Mike, I actually was an electrical engineer for many years. I had my double E degree as my bachelor's degree. Then I got an MBA. I was at Texas Instruments for almost 20 years. I was VP of corporate marketing for Silicon Valley startup for a while. And then I was offered the CEO job, and that's what got me to Austin, Texas. For SI2. And so I took that job, did that for 12 and a half years. And during that period of time, the last 8 years, I was just so dissatisfied. As the industry was turning from analog to digital, I was dissatisfied with the DVRs that were on the market, how sluggish and slow and clunky they were. I was dissatisfied with the lack of integration. You switch an HDMI input and you have to wait for like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 seconds before it syncs up right. And then you've got a different user interface, and global search isn't really global. Each box only knows its own thing. Sometimes you have to restart and reset it each time. You got all these cables around. It was just a mess. I was not satisfied. And so what I decided to do was look out there in the open source community, because I dealt with a lot of that with intellectual property attorneys back when I was at SI2. Got to know open source really well. I knew Linux already, so I wanted to see what I could build on top of Linux. Now, Linux doesn't have DRM in it because it's so open, but you can take Linux and do things with it if you spend the money to write proprietary drivers, if you spend the time and effort to build that in, if you pay the license fees to the cable industry, you can do all those things. But it is really, really hard. And it took about 8 years before it got so good that people coming over to our homes, they said, Steve, you really need to make a product of this. You got to sell this thing. There's nothing anywhere close to this on the market. And I really didn't believe that, but I kind of put on my little MBA hat and I did my own marketing research, and I was shocked to find there was nothing, not even close.
Well, because I think a lot of companies like breaking up everything into different components to get more sales, obviously. So obviously they want a streamer, they want a DVR, they want
and it's easier to do one thing.
It really realistically is, for any company to do one thing, but then they wouldn't have options to buy other stuff. But I feel like you've kind of taken the gamut of all these different types of devices. And blended it into one. Tell us about the device.
Yeah, let's level set for everybody so they know exactly what we're talking about. So you've got a box, and what does the box do?
Okay, this box integrates and simplifies your entire family's, your entire home's entertainment media experience. Okay, so what we do is we replace your set-top box and your rental DVRs or whatever you might have. We replace your Blu-ray player. We replace your streaming boxes. We replace your movie server if you have one. A lot of people, I had about every version of home theater PC imaginable before moving over to Modulus, so I know about them all, and I have them all in my museum, But all of those pieces required different HDMI inputs. They had different audio levels, different user interfaces, different remote controls. And, bless the hearts of the integrators that do the professional installations. They do their best with a patchwork quilt to make it look somewhat integrated, but they can't do anything about the fact that you've got to wait between, HDMI switching. The user interfaces are different. Global search isn't really global, all that stuff. So I just really was dissatisfied and set out to do something better. And it took about 8 years.
So let's do this. We're going to do the bonus round rapid fire question. So to educate people very quickly, I'm going to ask you if the box can do something, and then you give me the yes it can or no it can't.
Okay.
Right. Play Blu-ray discs.
Yes.
Play a 4K disc.
Yes.
Play an MKV file.
Yes.
Rip a Blu-ray to some kind of file.
Yes.
Hold on, I got a couple. Can I get in here?
Go.
Okay.
This is fun, right?
It really is. Can it stream Tidal, Qobuz, and Spotify?
Yes. All of them.
All of them. And it can do it. It can do MQA from Tidal.
Yeah, we support high bitrate formats. Yes.
Okay. Wait. I got more. So, okay. Hypothetical question. So let's say I have Xfinity or Comcast or something like that, right?
Yes.
Can this replace my cable box?
Yes.
Whoa.
Here, take it one step farther. Can I record over the air television and tune it?
Yes.
Well, let me break that up. Can I tune over the air?
Yes.
Can I record over the air?
Yes.
Can I record Comcast?
Yes.
Can I record Netflix?
Yes.
Can it play CDs?
Yes.
SA CDs?
Yes. Well, we import CDs. People don't usually play the discs anymore, but if they have a library importing, yes.
What can it do? Okay, one question. When will it arrive at my house?
Well, as soon as you place your order, within 5 to 7 days.
That's also really good to know. 5 to 7 days, it's at your home.
Yeah, it really is.
It does all kinds of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One of the things that we really should probably talk about is a lot of people's experience with a system is that user interface and the remote control. And we've actually won awards just with this remote control. This remote is RF, so it doesn't require line of sight. It's very simple, easy to navigate with like the thumbs and the motion and all that. It has infrared learning to replace 3 other remote controls that you might have, like, let's say, your receiver, your television, things like that. It has an air mouse. You can just point at what you want instead of having to go right, down, just say that. It has a mic button, and it has voice commands. You can tell it to go to Netflix, jump to Spotify, play the last recording of the Dallas Cowboys football game before they lost. You can tell it to play a slideshow of your Grand Canyon vacation, because if you've got a tag in that, it'll know how to jump to that, or a folder that has that in the name. So the voice feature, very cool. It's backlit on this side, but guess what? It has a full QWERTY keyboard on the other side, and it's backlit on this side as well.
Dude.
And it even has an earphone jack for private listening.
Good Lord. Okay. I think I'm trying to find something to stump them.
Well, hold on. Well, let's take a couple of the comments out there. So Double A, our good friend, he picked up on that one that I threw in there. He's all like, wait, record Netflix?
Yes.
Twilight World. Indeed. And then Mad Piranha. Now this is the hard question, because this cuts to the chase for everybody. And can you see the comments that I'm putting up on the screen?
I'm seeing them coming in the lower left corner of mine.
Yeah. So Mad Piranha, welcome. He says, is it affordable? So is this a $25,000 box?
No. So one of the things that we tried to do was make sure that, the hardware, there's a lot in the hardware. You can imagine it's high horsepower CPU and GPU. It has, the latest, actually we use an Intel based chipset. We do have a partnership with Intel, and they wrote part of our graphics stack for us as well. But anyway, the hard drive space, the minimum size is 6 terabytes. It goes up to 32 terabytes, and we're looking at more in the next model. So basically, there's a lot of hardware in there. The tuner card itself is a 6-tuner cable card. One cable card supports 6 recordings at once, all throughout your home. And we'll talk about the little MX1 that goes with the M1 later, but that's how you get around the rest of your home. So all of that, we don't have an MSRP because this is designed to sell through the integrator channel, the professional installation market, right? So we sell to dealers, and then they do the installation and support. That way, we as a startup don't have to deal with post-sales technical support. Well, we do to our dealers, but not to the average consumer. So yeah, so what I would advise is, rather than quoting off prices, because obviously they're different based upon who you go to for doing that package, but I would say reach out to us on our website, and we'll get back to you. We put in like your area where you live or zip code or something, and we'll get you in touch with the dealer, and you can ask the specific questions that way.
So since this is a live show and we have an audience, if anybody in the audience has a, web browser with search, and you want to search for the cost, feel free to put it in the notes.
You can do that. It's a free world.
Feel free to put it out there.
Yeah. Like I say, we don't publish an MSRP. It doesn't bother me. We're fine. But we're just, it's a deal with our integrators is to not undercut them or, kind of give them the freedom to do what they want.
Right on. Yeah. And Lawrence, welcome to the show. I don't know is Lawrence new? Mike, have we seen Lawrence before?
I think he's one of Steve's guys.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Larry is
Bizagni?
Huh?
Bizagni?
Basanye? Yeah, Larry Basanye. Yeah, Larry, great guy. Came to us from Kaleidoscape, actually. I think he was going into a Kaleidoscape dealer, saw the Modulus there, and he wanted to work for us, and so we worked that out.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, do you have any more rapid fires? Because I got more.
I was thinking I got all choked up after I was just.
I thought you were going to cry or something for a second. You were like, "Oh my god!"
Something went down the wrong tube. I don't know, but man, it just. Okay, here we go. Here's a question. So, the user interface. You said that's one thing that you really focused on because you felt that a lot of the other devices out there, their user interface was a little clunky or it was lacking. So is your interface app based? So can I go to like the Android app store and download apps directly to your device, or do you have like a proprietary thing that you use, or do you have your own apps for these special things?
Mike, great question. And the answer is we have our own apps, but we also allow you to add your own. And I'll explain all this. So because of the way in which we break the mold, everyone is used to how you have to do a streaming app. Okay. And let me tell you the way in which we started out thinking we were going to do streaming. Traditional way is you get your attorneys with the attorneys at the company that you want to have the streaming service. You figure out what the terms are and the fees and how long the support is. You get usually an Android or iOS kind of Java APK kind of thing, and then every time it's changed, of course, you need to get it from them, provided it's within the period of time that it's supported by them in your legal agreement. And then, of course, you probably have to restart your device after that update. Mm-hmm. We didn't like any of that. And so we took advantage of the fact that every streaming app out there, or I should say virtually every, uses an HTML5 based packetized stream with a wrapper for DRM. Mm-hmm. And virtually all of them use Widevine DRM these days. And so basically what we did is we took the engine of a very popular web browser, Chrome web browser. We took the engine of that along with its DRM and all its handling, and we make that the driver for all of these apps. So now we don't have to negotiate with each one in order to add it. When Disney Plus came out 3 days later, it was in an overnight update. There it was. And we could record. So suddenly you've got everything in Disney Plus, and you can save it locally permanently in your Modulus.
Okay, I got a good one. So let's say there's a Netflix special that I want to record, something that's just very exclusive to Netflix. So would it be like a record and stop type of deal, kind of how like I used to do with a VHS player back in the day when I recorded my favorite show on TV. So basically whatever's on the screen, it's going to capture and then turn into some type of video file?
Well, it's more advanced than that. It's a lot more advanced than that. So first off, you could never get the quality that we have if you were going to do something that was capturing your screen itself. Mm-hmm. So let me just say, we record every streaming app. We record at 1080p, 60 frames per second. Okay, you couldn't do that if you were trying to do some software screen capturing thing.
Sure.
Number two, you wouldn't want to, because then you'd have to watch the whole thing while it's recording. So we actually allow you to do stream recording in background, and you can do multiple stream recordings at the same time in background while you're watching something else. And what you're watching could be your DVR or a movie or a Blu-ray disc or some other streaming show.
Wait, and this turns it into a video file that you can keep forever in a hard drive.
Absolutely.
On the Modulus or in a hard drive outside, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or you can point it toward a NAS.
Somebody in the comments, please find me a price right now.
Yep. And I got to tell you, so we have a patent portfolio and our jewel patents. I mean, we have a patent on this remote and on the user interface, but the jewel patents are the portfolio that relates to our DVRs for streaming. The stream recording technology is fantastic, and we're going to be enhancing it over the coming couple of years here in huge ways. We've got great plans for it. So it's a huge deal to us. I mean, we've had valuations on the patent portfolio that would thrill anyone. But basically, what we're saying is we're willing to license this to others and take royalties. But for the first 2 or 3 years, we're going to keep this to ourselves.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
This sounds so good.
Yeah. And what's really neat. Okay. So one of the things about stream, there's actually about 5 reasons that you would want to record streaming. Okay. You don't think about them all, but I'm going to just kind of give you the quick list. Number 1 is I hate navigating forward and backwards in streaming apps. It feels like so 1995, right? You got the little idiot boxes that are static and jump across. When you record it, now it's local. You have no latency. You've got the full quality there. And we have, because everything is frame indexed in the SQL database, you can say, jump 45 minutes forward. You go 4 or 5 right arrow, and it's instantly there. Or you speak it, jump 45 minutes forward. So you get a capability that you just can't get as an experience in the home if you're just relying on the live streaming. So to record it means you now have local control of it. Number 2, the playback experience is the same as your movie server part, as your DVR part. Everything has the same player, same controls, works the same way. So you have consistency. Steve, Number 3 is you don't have to worry about when they lose their licensing deal and they take it off and you no longer have access to it. And another option is, of course, once you've got it, there's nothing that says you have to continue paying those monthly subscription fees to keep getting access to the content that you actually had paid to get access to.
And that's the biggest thing for me, because there's a few Netflix specials that I feel that have already kind of made their way through the service that aren't available on Blu-ray or 4K physical media that I missed out on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
yes, I do.
This would now prevent.
I have most of them in my library.
Oh, got a question. Does this support Plex?
Yes. So we actually have an integration called, I think we call it Modulus Plex or Plex Modulus. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's one of the streaming app options. And when you click the tile for that streaming app, you have a choice of starting the server or opening the client. And so you don't have to run a server, but you can. And if you do, the Modulus will automatically configure the Plex server libraries to map to the categories of content in the Modulus so that you have the exact same experience up to the limitations of Plex. Plex has a lot of limitations that, we support things that they don't, but for everything it supports, it's organized the same way.
Let's just say that you have a person who hates Plex.
Yeah.
This basically would replace Plex for you, right? So you just dump all your files in. It'll go through and index everything. It'll identify, and you'll do
we have
all the
our own
artwork.
database that's better. They don't have a real database. It's more distributed kind of database thing. It's and file based. But we have a true database. By the way, you have, let's say, a Synology NAS drive. We've actually got one user out in California. He's got 280 terabytes of movies. So obviously, that's more than what fits in an M1, even our largest configuration. So we have what's called a net folder. And you just basically, in your settings wizard, you just point over to that location for the different kinds of content. So you can say, okay, for Blu-ray content, that's that. For video files, do that. For DVDs, do that. For UHD content, go there. And it can all be the same place, but it goes there and it doesn't need to write to those drives. It only needs read access because the cover art and the metadata and all that is stored locally, so it's fast. And it fetches it. Right. So regardless of how much content you have, it's blazing fast.
Internally, what kind of storage can you put in the... So there are two models, right? There's the MX1 and the M1.
Yes. So if you go to our website, you can see the M1, really nice stylish thing. The little LEDs change color based on what kind of content you're playing or app you're streaming or whatever and all that. And then the MX1 is this
is the little guy.
Yeah, this is the little guy. Now, this can be Velcroed to the back of a TV in another room. It can be set on, a coffee table or whatever. I mean, wherever. But this has very simple connections. It's basically HDMI, Ethernet. We do have fast Wi-Fi. So if you don't have wired Ethernet in a room, a good 802.11ac connection is fast enough for doing Blu-ray, lossless Blu-ray playback in other rooms. But this also has a little USB port in the little front of it, so you can actually connect in another accessory, and I'll get to that in a little bit because I know we're not quite at that accessory, right, Giles?
Correct.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But Mike's got some pictures of the larger device.
Oh, yeah.
It looks so cool.
Yeah, and look, so there's a slot loading disc player on the front of the large unit.
And you can, so now may be a good time to mention this. So you can import or play your discs right through that slot loading drive. But in addition, we have a slim UHD Blu-ray player, and this has a USB connection. There are 4 USB 3.1 ports in the back, and you can add these. You can import up to 4 discs simultaneously while you're watching something else. Okay, and this is really simple. You can just stack them on top of each other and can do all of your imports that way.
Now, when you rip that 4K disc, that's giving you full quality, right? So it's
lossless, full bit-for-bit quality, audio and video, special features, subtitles, all that. Yes. And then, of course, this has that USB port, so you can actually, in let's say the kids' playroom or whatever, suddenly this turns into a Blu-ray player in the kids' room, right? You don't even have to import before it. You could just do it locally. Or you can import to the M1 over your network. Let's say that the M1 is in some corner of the basement in a rack mount. You don't have to go down there. You can just put it right here and import your discs.
Yeah, so in my home, we have 2 primary locations where we consume content. There's the theater in the basement, and that's got the full complement of everything. It's got a Kaleidoscape, and it's got a Blu-ray player, and it's got a NVIDIA Shield, and a Zapedi Pro, and all the stuff's down there. So this unit would go there, and maybe I can get rid of a bunch of stuff too. And then upstairs, we've got a media room where we play games and watch TV and that kind of stuff. So we can put the little box up there, and then everything. So the little box kind of points toward the bigger box for the database, or is the database synced on both?
Yeah, there's one database server running, and it's on the M1. Now, you actually can have multiple M1s. We actually have some yacht installations where they have headless M1s, and there's a master backend server and a slave backend server, and they sync up and coordinate and schedule the resources and do load balancing and all that. So you can do very scalable installations with the Modulus.
Right on. Now, but the MX1 can it function as a standalone? Like if you don't have a M1, can it run by itself?
It can, but it's nowhere near the horsepower of an M1, and this model does not actually output at 4K. So you can import discs, to your M1 to play at 4K, but it doesn't have the horsepower in the GPU for the 4K circuitry. So this would go in your other rooms where that isn't essential.
Okay,
and we're going to be coming up with another model later that'll do that, but we're going to keep this model because it keeps it inexpensive.
The M1s, where you put the disc in, that is a 4K player as well, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
It's full 4K, hardware accelerated, everything, right?
Man, just from what you've told me, I mean, we've been talking for about 25 minutes now, and just from what you've told me and the barrage of questions you've been able to say yes to, which is, I think you've been able to say yes to 100% of the questions.
Well, I haven't said no yet.
Right. So
I can ask hard questions here pretty soon, though.
Well, the thing is,
he's working them up. I know it's coming.
I think this device can literally replace almost everything. Almost everything. I think the only thing that comes to mind that it couldn't replace because it's a different type of device is the kaleidoscope that you have, Giles. Yeah. But that's a different type of thing. That's a totally different type of a thing going on there. So
that's what makes it different?
Because they have their own service, like their own like what would you call it?
You mean their movie store?
Right.
Oh, okay. So if we had a movie access capability too, then that would
eliminate That would eliminate everything.
Yeah. So, I've been waiting for someone to come in and compete directly with Kaleidoscape in that world, and that specific world that I'm talking about is you have a device, and and you can buy movies, in air quotes, and it automatically pulls that stuff down and then plays them in 4K HDR, Atmos, DTS, whatever it might be, full quality, yada yada yada. So at this point, I think they're unique with that capability. But the one thing about Kaleidoscape that makes it a standout for me is that it does do scaling so that it can run a constant image height 2.35 to 1 screen format using an anamorphic lens, and I don't have to do any external scaler changes. So it handles all that stuff for me. So that is probably the most unique feature for Kaleidoscape that I use outside of just the movie store. Yeah, so that
right on.
Yeah, so for AA, I think he had posted up that this box with the Kaleidoscape covers everything, and my guess is that one day you guys are going to jump into that whole movie store thing. I mean,
no, well, let me just say this, that the way you do it is critically important. So if Kaleidoscape was in a lower price category, you might estimate a volume of sales that would support the manual effort that's required for each movie to be mastered and put on the store, and kind of they put all the bookmarks in that they want for their special features, whatever. And there's a lot of manual labor and remastering from what they get from the studio that goes in each one of that. We took a look at that, and we actually took a look at that, by the way, over 4 years ago. Modulus has been around for 5.5 years now, by the way. So the product has been a long time in coming. But we decided against that because by our math, it was always a money loser unless you got up to a certain volume of sales and scalability that honestly, we just really didn't see anything in necessarily our price range, but certainly in the Kaleidoscape price range as being something that would be affordable. And then you'd have to be paying over $30 per movie, whether that's a good movie or a bad one.
Yeah, right.
So now you've got a real, and of course you've got a library of stuff that maybe you've built up over 10, 20 years, whatever. And, we never thought it was important, since you had the full quality of it right there, to be able to just not be able to just reuse what you've got in your own home.
Right.
And of course, everything we've done has had to be with utmost detail of attention paid to intellectual property, DRM, legal matters, and all that. We have a whole FAQ 7-page FAQ on just the legal questions that people ask. So people can go to our website and look that up as well. But we're here for the long term. So that means you have to be profitable. You can't be losing money on your movie store.
I guess all you got to figure out now is how to integrate an Xbox into it, and you're good to go. I mean,
well, but you know what? Let me just tease you with something, Mike.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so it has been the case that high-end gaming always required high horsepower local graphics rendering and processing capabilities, right?
Sure.
So whether it be your Xbox or your PS5 or whatnot, I mean, you had local horsepower in order to keep up with the high graphics frame rate that was necessary. But in cloud gaming, with such as Stadia or Luna or xCloud, now what's happened is that high horsepower requirement has moved up into the server farms, of which they're plentiful these days. Everyone's leasing them out, and we lease tons of space off Amazon, and we've got Google API licenses and all that for our voice stuff. And so these servers are there and available, and the industry is moving to this cloud gaming thing where now the same games that you would play locally because you needed that horsepower to do it, now they can put it up in the cloud. And those servers are far more powerful than that little box. So now they can do predictive computation. If you've got like 4 decisions you can make, it can predictively execute the rendering of the graphics for all 4. And then when you're with your controller, choose one, it just streams it down. So now effectively, cloud gaming is like another streaming device.
Well, this is something I can do with your device?
I haven't said that tonight, have I?
Okay.
Okay.
So,
but I'm giving you a thought.
Yeah.
Into where things are going and where the future is going. The integration of everything and having something that is capable of doing that unification and simplification. This, as well as, let's say, maybe a Bluetooth controlled controller, game controller. And, you've got, if you have the bandwidth, you've got all the rest of what you need, right? All the other pieces are there.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
I'm just letting you think on that.
I own an NVIDIA Shield, and I've tried their cloud service, their cloud gaming and all that. And that didn't impress me because, like you said, it doesn't have the horsepower. You know what I'm saying? It's it's a tiny little box. Yeah. So I wasn't expecting much from it.
Android-based, I believe, right?
What's that?
Is it Android-based?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting too much from it, but and he also offers a sync called Steam Link where you can sync up your PC to it and play on the screen. And I was showing Giles that the other day that I got GTA 5 on there and I was kind of messing around with it, but it was very clunky. It wasn't like it didn't feel right. But I have a feeling that with something like something like you have, that could give it the horsepower it needs to really. To really provide cloud-based gaming at its finest. So if you could do that, then
I think you're going to say that, we'll save that bookmark and we'll come back for another show some other day. But the rest of the story for home entertainment, aside from the cloud gaming, we've got all together. And of course it is revolutionary. No one else has even tried to, and I'll tell you, even just doing the DVR part is really, really hard. Okay, doing a good DVR that's fast and efficient, and of course we got tons of storage capacity, but we automatically skip commercials. See that little button right there? That's commercial skip. So it knows because it's frame index. So it says, okay, the first commercial starts here and the last commercial ends here. And if you press that button, it just jumps right over it to that frame and keeps going.
That's cool. Yeah. I don't think I've been excited about a product this much, and I think I have to roll the clock back to the very first TiVo that came out because that was really a game changer. Yeah, that was a game changer for me. And there's not a lot of devices that come around. Like 4K wasn't a game changer. I mean, it's like an incremental improvement, right? But when I could not use a VCR and digitally record things and tell it to record all my shows, and I didn't have to worry about it anymore, that was a game changer. And this is the same kind of thing for me. This is really, I don't have to go out and buy all these devices and take up all my rack space and have this super complex system that's hard to use. And then I have to pay somebody to come in with a Control 4 system to do all my remote control and all that kind of. This is this is pretty significant change.
I have another question. Does your system?
Mike's not been this questioning in a long time.
I know. Well, I haven't been enchanted by a device in a long time. Well, I mean, Giles and I normally, we go through a huge gamut of devices, and we review. Obviously, we review. You're familiar with our channels. We review a lot of speakers and amplifiers and stuff like that. But very not frequently, very seldomly, do we come across a device that we're like, whoa,
it's
like
new.
This is like. Because, I mean, we've seen it all. So, like, nothing really surprises anymore. Okay, the speaker, it plays music. The amplifier, it amplifies music. It's basic stuff. But when you're telling me you could literally provide an entire, home entertainment system in this small
devices.
In this small box, and it'll play well with everybody, and and I saw someone put on there the price range that they saw it in, and I think that's more than reasonable. Yeah. That is, I mean,
there's a lot of hardware in that thing, and that brushed aluminum case. I mean, that's $250, $300 just for that case. But the tuner card, that's like $500 worth of tuner card right there, right? So I mean, you look at what it takes to do the job. There's a lot of hardware costs, and you can't do anything about that.
Well, one thing I think you're competitive over is your pricing is the value is incredible for what you're getting.
And I'll point this out because, Mike, a lot of people don't think about this. With some products, the server that does all the storage, and of course, most of them don't have a tuner card or do all that other stuff. But the thing that does all of the, handling all the media itself, it's usually not also a primary player. Usually, a lot of times you have a separate thing that's the player from the servers, right? And so when you look at your cost model and you kind of add that up, it's important distinction because, the M1 is a primary player as well as being the server.
It does it all. You don't have to go and buy this thing and then buy another thing too.
There is a limit to the number of MX1s that you can connect to an M1 and have simultaneous playback. We officially support up to 16 of these per M1. Good. And we've actually done tests in our labs that show, I think we stopped it was either 33 or 36, let's say 33, Blu-ray disc playbacks, different discs to different MX1s. They were on our local network, but 33 of them from one M1 that it could handle. But that's more than what we officially support.
So if someone has just a ridiculously big house and they have, their main unit in their living room or in their home theater,
right,
and they have 10 bedrooms and they can have one of those in each bedroom, that
we have that. I mean, we
can all piggyback off that one.
Yeah,
that's incredible, man.
So it's completely scalable. Of course, we have web apps. We have things for your tablet and phone. There are ways to play your content remotely outside your home. And organize it as well as control the things. Plus, we have more requests of this now that we're getting into the A-listers. We've got one he's got 10 homes. And doing a whole remodel of everything. And so basically, he wants the content synced across all of his 10 homes. You would know who this guy is, but I'm not going to mention the name. But to have that synced up, what you have to do is realize that each M1 could have up to 32 terabytes in it, right? So there's a lot of syncing going on. So there's a lot of infrastructure. It's not just the unit, not just the hardware, not just the software or these accessories, but think about the cloud server part of it. Think about the way we synchronize. We haven't talked about all your personal media. Let's say that you're out at Easter with your family in front. You take a cell phone picture, snap, and it syncs up into the cloud somewhere. Come inside on your big screen projector, whatever, and there it is, right? Because it automatically syncs. Yeah.
So there is a mobile app then that
there is. We're redesigning the interface. So I don't want to promote it as something that people do right now to say, oh, I want to get that mobile app right now because it's being redesigned for some new stuff and some more security stuff that we're putting in.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I was talking to Steve about before is just say, Mike, you and I, and this is like a totally off topic, but maybe we're traveling and we take a bunch of video footage and we need to get it back to our editor overseas, back home. We could sync the video into the Modulus system and they can download it.
Yeah. Yeah. The way the Modulus sees it, this is actually pretty cool. If
that would be too good.
Amazon, for example, has S3 storage, and then there's other systems that have similar kind of buckets of storage space that you lease. And so it's pretty cheap, really. So basically, the Modulus sees everything. It mounts it as though it's like part of its extended local file system.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to copy stuff over. You just reference it in place. And if the bandwidth is there and you're not worried about the latency, then you can just deal with it directly and store all that massive amount of content very easily. So we've got a whole bunch of plans for what we're going to be doing with the cloud server stuff, syncing across M1s in different homes and vacation homes and whatnot, and that kind of stuff.
Steve, I'm just not seeing any cons. Like I know Giles and I have been sitting here trying to stump you. And we just have
some more questions though. Giles, he's been thinking.
Well, okay, here's the hard ones, right? And this is kind of like more bleeding edge kind of stuff. So, is there a future product lined up to be able to? Well, I don't know. Okay, everybody's going to ask, can it do Atmos?
Yeah, of course. So we support. What we do is our approach is pass through digital audio. We rented out the HDMI and you're either going to have a preamp or some other sound processor, or your main receiver or your smart TV is going to process that and be capable of doing that, right? Yep. So we don't try to redundantly do that. That drives up the cost. It's a waste. So what we do is we just pass through the digital bit stream for the audio and let the device that's downstream handle that.
That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Because then you're not, it just goes right.
Extra cost to do it internally here when you've got the good circuitry probably in your receiver or preamp already.
And that's looking out for the consumer as well, because that keeps the cost a little lower.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Dolby Vision HDR10 Plus?
No. No, we don't have Dolby Vision.
One day?
Okay, let me rephrase that. We have not tested the output of Dolby Vision through our systems. Yes, so we're all digital pass-through. So in theory, I guess the answer could be a yes now that I think about it. But we have never tested that. We've never claimed that or promoted that or marketed that.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're just doing pass-through, so you'll see a lot of devices like a Denon receiver or something like that, and they do stuff to the video, right? Yeah. So they want to put their UI into the video and all this stuff. But then you have other companies like Acurus, and they just pass it through. So they're like, we support everything. Doesn't matter. Whatever the source is, it just goes. So if it's Dolby Vision or HDR10 or blah, 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 whatever it is, it just goes, and we don't care.
Probably that's the same for us too, but we haven't put Dolby Vision on any of our marketing material.
Right.
I mean, is there really
want to see that little image though? They'd be like, yes, I like it.
I mean, Giles, this is a question for you. Do you feel that there really is a want and a need for Dolby Vision right now, or I mean, is this something that people are actively using
in TV world? Yes. In projector world, no.
Okay.
But in TV world, absolutely, Dolby Vision's a thing. In projector world, HDR10 more than enough. Most people can't put out enough nits to really have.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really explored Dolby Vision as much as I maybe should have by now. But thankfully, I'm just an audio channel, and that's your job, Giles. But I don't know. I haven't heard too much about it, so. I mean, for me, it would be like a whatever type of deal. Like, okay, doesn't support it, whatever. It wouldn't be like it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, if the Modulus
deal breaker for me either. It's totally not a deal breaker. Maybe not having this device at some point in the future will be a deal breaker for me because this is.
Giles, we're getting one.
This is the new cool thing. Now I do want to take a couple of minutes because we're at 8:45 now, and there are a couple of things that I want to start covering every week in the show. And when we have a guest on, I want to ask this question to the guest too. So the first thing is content corner.
Content what?
Content corner. We are entering the segment of content corner. I know I'm trying to come up with segment stuff. So the content corner. So Mike, what are you watching these days? What's hot on your list right now? Things to watch. What's the content that content consumers? There you go. Content. I don't know. 2 minutes.
What about content consumption?
Yeah, content consumption.
I don't know. I'm all over the place, man. Are you talking TV, movies?
Anything. I mean, what did you watch this week? Because I know what I watched this week that I want to tell everybody about. Did you watch anything noteworthy
this week?
Yeah, anything hot and new?
I'm trying to think what came out. I've just recently finished.
New.
I recently finished The Mandalorian. That was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got all that screen recorded in Modulus, by the way. So. Yeah.
Man, awesome. Stop it.
Like a cat and a mouse.
Oh man, you're gonna man, that's what you did. But what about you, Giles? What have you watched lately?
Oh, this week is all about The Expanse season 5.
See, I haven't gotten into it yet.
Oh, so good. Oh my God. It is.
I tried, but
it's so, so season 1 was pretty good. Season 2 was a little, and then dude, 3 and 4, oh, it's so good. Once they got the gate open and all the stuff, and so good.
Honestly, I just finally got to The Witcher. That's pretty
really good. Took you a while.
Witcher's really good too.
Yeah, it took me a long while because I watched the first episode. I'm like, I like Henry Cavill.
It's confusing because it jumps along timelines. It goes backwards, forwards, and if you don't know the books, then you can easily get confused with the series.
Now, recently, I've gotten into His Dark Materials. That's really it's based on we had the author wrong, Giles. It wasn't the same guy as Narnia. It's a different author. And actually the books got in trouble. The Catholic Church tried to ban those books because of its content.
Oh, I'm interested now.
Yeah, it just kind of takes the whole.
Philip Pullman. Yeah,
it takes the whole premise of theology and just kind of twists it a little bit and kind of makes their version of the Vatican is like a little darker and they're like the bad guys, So it's kind of weird, but
it kind of reminds me of Da Vinci Code, right?
It's some weird stuff and it has multiverses and stuff. So I'm getting into that. I actually watched the whole season. It was great. Cobra Kai, obviously on Netflix.
Yeah, Cobra Kai, we're watching that. Yeah,
man, that brings back some nostalgia too.
It goes back to the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard,
and it really paid a good homage to Pat Morita, which they're actually
really well.
Anything about the 80s?
They're coming out with a Pat Morita documentary, which is going to be pretty cool because nobody really knows a lot about his life. I didn't know, he passed away in 2005, I believe, or something like that.
2006 or right around there.
Yeah, poor guy, man. He was really young too. He was in his 70s, so super young for that to happen. But I have a lot of, I guess, Expanse. AA is saying in the comments, Expanse is amazing or looks amazing.
Oh, it's so amazing. Steve, what about you? What's?
Oh, I just work here 24/7. That's I don't sleep. I don't do anything else. So what would I know? Actually, no, we do watch stuff. You got to have a sanity break. Plus, I'm always testing, right? It's a good experience.
Right? I love it.
I'm testing.
I love it.
Air quotes.
This is market research, what you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of market research here. So, lately, I spend a lot of time with Carmen. Carmen is my wife, my partner in this as well. This is really a labor of love that we've both done together, and we made a huge commitment. And thankfully, if both of us were successful in our former careers, or we could not have had the ability to do our own seed funding for this and put as much in on our own as we did. And we're now going through Series A financing, and that's coming up to a close real soon here. But we did put a lot in ourselves. So she works pretty hard, but we need to take a break, and we usually do it together. And a lot of times I defer. So especially on series. So like we've just been watching Bridgerton, which is colorful and interesting, not even close to historically accurate, but it's fun. Okay. Wonder Woman 84 was, over the holidays and very disappointing.
Agreed.
The special effects were pretty good, but who gets excited? That's not hard anymore. And I always love Gal Gadot, but the thing is, the rest of the cast didn't work. The storyline was poor.
She couldn't save
it. That movie succumbed to bad writing at the end of the day.
Bad writing, yeah.
The
storyline really poor.
God, when she came, the best part of that movie, I think the highlight for me was when she came in that gold outfit, and just kind of saved the day.
With the wings.
Yeah, with the wings. She looked like Goldar from Power Rangers. It was really something, that scene. But
and then I kind of like Tenet. That was good. Carmen, I think, left the room because it's not her kind of thing. But I just turned the volume even louder and just got into it.
Oh, it's loud, all right.
Yeah, the bass track on that movie is
action, but it's fun.
Yeah, the bass track on that movie was incredible.
My subwoofer was just kicking.
All right, so another thing that I want to make sure that we touch on every week is kind of what we've got in the pipe and the cool things that are going on. And I just want to point out to everyone, if they haven't noticed already, because I can't help but notice, because I think this is super cool, because we're talking about really, really, really cool boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mike has got, move your head. Mike has got a damn cool box that I wish he would hurry up and finish up with, because I want to play with it too.
That right there is the Boulder 866 integrated amplifier. It's just kind of hanging out right now because I'm waiting for custom cables.
No lights on it. Not even powered up, huh?
Not powered up yet. I'm waiting for some custom cables from Audience AV. Okay. They're gonna. So this is my first time with such an incredible device. I mean, that thing MSRP.
It is a $15,000.
MSRP for $14,000. So
yes.
It's I didn't think it was going to be so difficult. So
it looks
huge to set up or configure, or
every speaker I've ever had here, I've always used banana plugs on their 5-way binding post.
Yeah,
this guy only takes spade, so very, very specific, and then it doesn't have RCAs. So now I'm going to have them make me, XLR to RCA, because most of my sources are RCA. I know some people have sources that are XLR, but I'm very practical. But I
like my XLRs. You know how I like cables.
Well, man, I'm excited because once I get it all dialed in, it's going to be a great review. It's going to be a great experience, and at least Giles and I will both have that in our resume, that we have been able to review an amplifier of that stature. So I'm excited about it. And the aesthetics are incredible. Once I release the video, everybody will get a chance to see it. And this is a good spot to plug all of our properties. If you guys haven't already, please head on over to Audio Architects on YouTube. Go ahead and give me a subscription. Check out the content. If you have a little bit extra time, also go over to Home Theater Fanatics.
Only if it's extra time, though.
Subscribe, like all his videos, check out his content, ring that bell, because we put out content every week. I put out content every Friday religiously. And I'm always doing something. I'm always either reviewing something or interviewing somebody or doing something fun. Giles always has some crazy project, either a DIY project, or he's, putting speakers in walls or reviewing the next biggest best thing.
And somebody wouldn't help me put my latest speaker in the wall. And I'm not going to say
this guy called me up at like 10 at night, and he's like, Mike, can you come help me tonight? I'm like, dude, it's 10 at night. I'm trying to, just relax and,
you guys are
pretty soon watch my Modulus, hang out
kind of thing, right?
Dude, I was there, drywall knife, and I was all like, I'm starting to cut into the wall behind the screen to put the center channel in, and I'm like, this thing's heavy, and I'm like, Mike, come on, it's like a plate of aluminum, and it's really hard for me to hold it and do the. And Mike's like,
well, here's a great question. Steve, where can people find you? Do you have Instagram?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. I was kind of waiting for the opportune moment, right? So just go to getmodulus.com.
Mm-hmm.
That website has tons of information on it. So Get Modulus. It's Modulus, right? Getmodulus.com. And there's stuff for you to learn about just the general product features. There's videos. There's all kinds of videos. Play that little video. Just start that one that says play video right there in the top. Yeah. And it should just like pop up with stars. So see, that'll give you like kind of a, a professional video summary of all the main features that it has. But I want to say that there's an integrator login part as well. So for the pros and the people who wish to be dealers, we actually have rep firms around the country, and we have most major U.S. markets covered by now. And so there are dealers. We'd love to have more dealers, of course, but we do qualify them. So there is a.
I was going to say I'll be your dealer, but when you're going to qualify me, I think it just knocks me out.
I'm sorry, what?
HomeTheaterFanatics.com. Come get your Modulus.
Yeah. Well, we may cut you some slack on the side, but yeah. So anyway, that is rich with information, but some of it is behind the integrator login part. But anyone who has questions on anything, just go to get the info at modulus.com, getmodulus.com. There's something on the webpage there, or you can send an email as well. So
that is awesome.
We're just all here, happy to help. Obviously, we're all excited about what we've built and what we've got here. We kind of know it. By the way, I mentioned at the beginning of the show that I had actually retired from SI2 as CEO after 12 and a half years. Well, 6 of the people in our executive team actually came over to Modulus when I formed Modulus. So we've actually worked together for a long time, and there's a lot of trust there. We're experienced. We know each other and how to, support each other. And so it's kind of a big extended family.
Awesome. Steve, you've really built something special. I hope you know that. It's and it has been a pleasure to talk to you about it. You seem like a very agreeable person, and
and Mike doesn't like anybody.
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes we get some people on here, man, that they're just kind of dry, but no, Steve, you've been very entertaining, and it looks like you have tons of passion for what you're doing. And
you're going to put that many hours into something, and that much, it's a labor of love.
It really is.
Okay. So just the other day, there was this thing is like, okay, is it possible to do, and I won't say what it is, but, yeah, it was a weekend and it was right after the holidays and all, but, I spent a good part of the weekend working on that thing because I knew how to do it. I knew I could do it. And I know I should have waited and let the software team do it, but it was one of those things that, I still sometimes I get my fingers dirty. I've got bits of code under the fingernails, and I'm going to be working my way out of that, of course. But I was just saying, it's the passion of it. Our team, they all work hard. They're doing a great job. I am so blessed and so thankful to have that team, because they are great. And it's easy to have the passion when everyone is excited with you. And we all know what we've got. I think, I won't say what it is, but when we got our company valuation to get into our Series A financing, it was like jaw dropping. And then the royalty revenue stream off the patents on the stream recording patents, right? Those kind of things, that gets you excited. If that doesn't get you excited, nothing will. So now our job is to just fully execute that vision. And there's there's bricks in the mortar. There's pieces of the puzzle that we have yet to do. There's things that we know to finish out and flesh out, or things that are coming in the next 3 months or 6 months. We have a lot that's planned with the stream recording. We're going to exploit the heck out of that. And so just trust me that this whole system is just at its beginning of where it's going. We've got plans. There's 5 divisions of Modulus planned. So we've got things for enterprise, commercial, and there's marine and Modulus Sea and Modulus Air. We're already doing some of that. Some of the international stuff we're starting to get ready to launch. So we've got new models coming out this year and new products.
That's amazing.
A lot going on.
I'm really excited for you. And in the grand scheme of things, I mean, this company is still in its infancy. I mean, only 5 years in, you're brand new and you're already hitting it out of the park. So
thank you, Mike.
I'm excited for you, Steve.
I think that is a nice compliment. Yeah.
Awesome. I think you're a great guy. I think, definitely pleasure having you on the show. Giles, I think you can agree with me on that. This has been one of my favorites so far.
Well, I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was.
Does StreamYard support having like a shared beer? Where you just kind of like enjoy a beer together?
Well,
cheers.
Yeah, I'll just pretend this is beer. All right.
You need a sound effect. I'll have to get a clink.
Yeah, you got to work on that. You got to work on the clink.
I'll get that one figured out. That could be a feature of Modulus.
I'm loving it. Giles finally got his lighting dialed in over there.
I'm just trying to copy you. I should have got the other one so that I could have done purple and blue.
I moved my purple or my pinkish purple. I moved it a little bit over so that way both sides have neon. Because before it was just like that side over there had neon. But yeah, as far as everybody, I got a great announcement actually. As many of you know, I hit my 1,000 subscribers in November on YouTube, and I had the biggest issue with monetizing my channel. And now finally at 1,500 subscribers, YouTube finally fixed its, technical issues I had with my channel. Ooh. And I am monetized. So you guys, I'm just really proud of that. And I feel that this is a huge next step for this channel. Now that it's monetized, I can throw more money at it and definitely invest in more gear and more lights and more stuff. And, just actually the first thing I'm going to buy is that Modulus, to be honest. But
awesome.
Regardless of that, I thank you everybody that has subscribed, that has supported me. Thank you very much. Giles and I have if you guys are Patreon users, Giles and I both have our Patreon channels that you can subscribe to. And just to keep it going, because Giles and I do this for the longest time. We've done this out of love, and we continue to do this out of love.
Still out of love.
we do it out of love for the industry, guys. So thank you all for your support. As always, thank you for your support. Giles, thank you for joining me. And Steve, thank you for being an awesome guest. I mean, like I said.
Thank you so much, Mike. And Giles, thank you so much. You guys are great. It's been a lot of fun at my end as well. And I know you guys have the passion for all this too, because it was a labor of love for you to do your sites and your channels and to just investigate and delve into all this. And I do hope you get to experience the Modulus for yourselves in your own homes and at some point.
We hope so.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Right. So I'll just remind everyone, go to getmodulus.com.
Getmodulus.com. We'll go ahead and put that in the description below. I'm actually going to keep this one on normally I delete them off my channel, but this one I am going to keep on my channel, as well as the HiFi Fanatics. That's another one. If you guys haven't checked out HiFi Fanatics, that's kind of where Giles and I come together like the Avengers and do fun things together. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Steve, stick around for a second after the show. We could chat. And yeah, you guys, we'll see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, every Tuesday night.
Take care, everybody.